Lighting and a fan. So I'd like to welcome you to today's live streaming experience, which I can already see is working out a whole lot better than yesterday. And I am going to be talking about some of my personal favorite tarot decks. This is a partial list. Those of you that know me know that I am a collector of tarot decks and divination decks and oracle card decks. And you also know that I have a lot of decks that I love and a lot of decks that I enjoy. Before I go any further, I want to do something that I don't normally do live or in one of my videos, but I usually do it beforehand. So I'm going to read two beautiful and spiritually uplifting channeled messages. The first one is from Doreen Virtue's Messages from Your Angels 2017 Page a Day Calendar. And it reads, decide to make today a happy day, and your decision will guide you along a path of happy events and circumstances. And then the other one is from Louise L. Hayes' I Can Do It Page a Day Affirmation Calendar for 2017. And it is, I feel glorious, dynamic energy. I am active and alive. I'm going to say that one more time. I feel glorious, dynamic energy. I am active and alive. Indeed. So I'm going to minimize this because I'm doing this a little bit differently. And I don't see who's on, but I'm definitely live. And as far as I can tell, so yeah. Okay, so here are some of my personal favorite tarot decks. There are, again, this is a partial list. Okay, so this is the Cosmic Tarot. This is not to be confused with the Cosmic Tribe Tarot. This is a very unique deck in that a lot of the cards, let me do that, yeah. A lot of the cards depict different celebrities, not that one in particular. And this is the back of the card design. Ain't it gorgeous? So I'll show you some of the other cards. So there's this, and there's this, and this. And I must admit, there is a card that looks a lot like Robert De Niro. Not him, but not this card. But it is, I believe it's the King of Wands, which is interesting because for some people who read the tarot, the King of Wands corresponds to Leo energy. And Bobby De Niro is definitely a sun sign Leo. Now I'm going to put this over here. And then we're going to go to this one. This is the Art Nouveau Tarot. And I do not remember the artist offhand. It's interesting. This was the subject of one of my previous YouTube videos because I talked about how, well, I talked about a lot of things in my previous videos. This is the back of the card design. And some of you may recognize this, the Silk Run Arcana case in peacock blue and golden vine, courtesy of Tarotista. Look at this beautiful star goddess. And in this tarot deck, the wands are called staves, which is the plural of staff, and the pentacles are called coins. Show you a few more. Okay. In case you're wondering, I am using Google Hangouts in conjunction with YouTube to broadcast live. I have it under good authority, namely my awesome computer tech person, who's also my amazing audiovisual person, that Google is doing away with Google Hangouts as of April 25th, if I remember correctly. So, but he and I already have other things in place. So here we have one of my personal favorite feline themed tarot decks. This is the Cat's Eye Tarot. Yeah, I need to buy one. I need to get another tarot bag for this, obviously. Now, what I love about this particular tarot deck is that it was created and illustrated by a feline veterinarian. Her name is Deborah M. Given, DVM. And I love the concept. There are, as some of you know, I've reviewed other feline themed tarot decks on my YouTube channel, but the fact that a feline veterinarian created and illustrated a feline themed tarot deck is like, okay, that's beyond amazing to me. So, High Priestess, the World, and no, this is not a majors only tarot deck. The Empress, as you will see from the Queen of Swords. And yes, there are different breeds depicted in the different suits of the minor arcana. Three of Cups, Knight of Wands, and Three of Pentacles. This is the advertisement card that when I give readings with this deck, I use as a blank card or an ennoble card. And it's basically saying, okay, this is not going to be answered. This question is not going to be answered in your reading at this time. And this is the back of the card design. Yes, gorgeous, gorgeous cat. I really love what Deborah Given did with this deck, and I'm very pleased with it. It is one of my personal favorite tarot decks. Okay, now, my personal favorite goddess-themed tarot deck is called the Universal Goddess Tarot. This was created by Maria Carati and illustrated by Antonella Platano. Antonella Platano has illustrated several other tarot decks, and it's interesting because um, those of us that have been working with the tarot for a while, we know that usually there is one artist that has illustrated one, maybe two tarot decks, and that's it. Antonella Platano has illustrated 5, and if I'm not mistaken, this is her 3rd tarot deck. By the way, this is the Day Goddess, and this is the Night Goddess. And I love, love, love. I actually, when I first began attuning myself to this deck, I gave myself a quiz. And I was like, okay, which of these goddesses do I recognize? So let's see if any of you recognize. And yes, I've reviewed this in one of my previous videos. So we know who she is. Some of you may not know who she is. Those of you may know who she is, especially if you are, if your pantheon is Greco-Roman or Hellenic Roman. This is the card that I use as a blank card or an ennoble card. And no, this is not majors only. I actually gave myself another copy of this deck. And this is the back of the card design. And I'm going to show you some of the minor arcana. I'll give you a hint with this one. If you recognized who was on Trump 6, Rising from the Ocean's Waves, then you might have an idea as to who they are, but specifically her, because it is called the Universal Goddess Tarot. Okay. You see, some of you absolutely would recognize her. Laurel Wreath. Here's another hint. There is a line of sporting goods named after her. And one more. Oh, this is appropriate, especially given what's coming up next month. Hint, hint, hint. Okay, so that is that. Now, I am going to show you another one of my personal favorite themed, one of my personal favorite goddess-themed tarot decks. This one is called the Dark Goddess Tarot. And it's funny because when I began connecting with Santissima Muerte, she felt like a goddess to me. She did not feel like a saint. And this was created by Ellen Lorenzi Prince, and I have recently discovered through my Instagram account that this deck is currently not in print. So this is another reason why, if there is any deck, whether it is a tarot deck, a divination deck, or an oracle card deck, and your intuition is telling you to buy that deck ASAP, buy that deck ASAP. Otherwise, you'll be like, it's out of print. By the way, I could still kick myself in the ass for not purchasing the Hello Kitty tarot. I know. Again, my celestial mother. My celestial grandmother. How many of you knew that the Pythia was the title of the Oracle of Delphi? And not surprisingly, I use this card as a blank or unknowable card. Ironic considering who's on the card. This is the back of the card design. And I'll show you a few more. La Madonna Negra. Isn't she gorgeous? Yeah, I'm going to leave that goddess alone. Woo, I know who she is. Those of you that have participated in my psychic self-defense classes, you will know which goddess I was like putting away, but not putting away because I'm not going to tell her what to do. Anyway, so I've used this deck only once. There's a bit of a story behind this deck. So I have a wonderful friend. Her name was Phyllis Rhoda Weprin. She was involved in the arts. She was involved in the theater, and she also was a professional tarot reader. She had become a certified Voyager tarot consultant, and she also wrote a tarot book as well as books for children. And this was one of the decks that she had that I inherited after she died. Anyway, now, those of you that have had private readings with me, you will know that after the private reading gets concluded, I send you a thank you email. And in the thank you email, I will consult a specific deck of tarot cards, and I will ask that deck of tarot cards, is there anything else this client needs to know right now? This is that deck. Yes, this is the Tarot Affirmations cards. The deck was created by a PhD named Sally Hill. And basically what US Game Systems did was take the imagery of the universal weight, which is the Rider-Waite that was recolored by Mary Hanson Roberts, and they attached those images to these cards, which are like jumbo index card sized, and listing different affirmations. So since today is a good day for affirmations, I'm going to read some of the affirmation cards at random. So this is from the High Priestess card. I trust my inner vision and intuition. I find the time to quietly retreat and access my inner wisdom. And this is from the Ace of Wands. I am creative energy, a source of inspiration and spiritual power. And this is from the Moon. I am a messenger of the night, releasing my unconscious wisdom through dreams and meditation. And this is the back of the card design, depicting Archangel Gabriel, who is the divine messenger of the archangels. I will read a few more. So, Page of Swords. I am eager to experience the changes in perspective and self-image that result from revised thinking patterns. King of Cups, the card of the psychic. I am a master of emotion, able to sort through my feelings and take positive action in the midst of turmoil. I need to have that tattooed on my ass and my forehead. And last but not least, the card that in some tarot decks is called the High Priest, which is traditionally called the Hierophant, which is German for High Priest. I am awareness of the spiritual, in touch with a collective wisdom that enriches life's journey. So I love using this deck, and it's one of my favorite um, Goddess Grace gratitude gifts to give people who have private readings with me. And I just love using that deck. Okay, now this is a bit of a different twist on a tarot. It is not a traditional tarot deck per se, but it is structured like a tarot deck. It is called the Oracle Tarot by Lucy Cavendish. I mentioned her in yesterday's Oracle deck video. And what's interesting about this deck is that it has no court cards. And in spite of that, it feels like a complete deck for me, because I've encountered decks that are just major arcana cards, meaning they're only 22 cards, or they're less than 78, but they're still considered a tarot deck. In spite of the fact that this has no tens and it has no court cards, this to me is a complete tarot deck. It is larger than standard size, as you can see, because these are some big ass cards. And this is one of the few tarot decks published by Hay House. Hay House normally publishes oracle card decks, like Doreen Virtue's oracle card decks. And I love that each card has a channeled message. For example, this is the Seven of Pentacles, or Seven of Coins, and it says opportunity. And I love that it has a wheel that has 7 coins and one section that has a question mark. So it's like there's an unknown opportunity coming into the client's life. This is the Six of Cups, reflection. And interestingly enough, there are 6 question marks in the woman's dress. So it's sort of like getting to know you better, getting to know oneself better. This is the Magician, intuition, taking chances. The Empress, fertility, sensuality. This is the back of the card design. And by the way, some of you want, something that I didn't talk about yesterday. When it comes to tarot decks, I tend to be drawn to specific themes. Gay men, goddesses, angels. I also tend to be drawn to deep, rich jewel tones. And that's really what drew me to the Oracle Tarot, because it has these deep, rich jewel tones, not that you can really see here. Unfortunately, this is still a work in progress. And at some point, I'm going to perfect live streaming videos without having to spend $94.99 a month for at least a year and then have that go up. I know. But I've already raised my fees once this year, and I really don't relish the idea of raising my fees for my psychic services across the board again just to pay for the internet. It doesn't sit right with me. Now, there's a very well-known psychic medium named John Holland. This is his second tarot oracle card deck. It is called the Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle deck. It is a 65 card tarot deck. Again, once again, it does not have the traditional 78 cards. This is the back of the card design. This is a great deck for exploring relationships, romantic, familial, spiritual. This is also a great deck to heal emotional wounds, because you look at this gorgeous emerald green. If that does not relate to the heart chakra, I don't know what does. And I love the fact that, aside from the rich jewel tones of this deck, it's larger than standard size, and the traditional names are different. For example, this card is traditionally the High Priestess card. In this tarot deck, it's called Listen. And also the minor arcana, which are traditionally the Wands, Cups, Swords, and Pentacles cards, have names on them. And you'll notice that they have a different color border. Now, what's interesting about this deck is that all the cards have Arabic numerals. See those numbers? Those are called Arabic numerals, as opposed to Roman numerals. This is the card that's traditionally called Death, Trump 13 at the top, and of course, oh, This is in reverse. Oh, I didn't even realize that. I am so sorry. See, learning experience. Spread your wings, reach out, daydreams and decisions. Oh, and it has chakra cards, like the base chakra, which is also known as the root chakra. This is the chakra of money, security, and safety. For the record, he also has a tarot oracle card deck prior to this one, which I was going to show all of you, but I couldn't find it. And he had one published last year, if I remember correctly. Now, as some of you know, Doreen Virtue has collaborated with a gentleman named Radley Valentine and has created tarot card decks. So she went from creating oracle card decks to also creating tarot card decks. At the present time, she has 4 published. These 2 are my personal favorites. This is the Angel Tarot cards, and you'll see Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. And again, larger than standard size. You know, for those of you that have small hands, this will be difficult to shuffle, but practice makes perfect. 6 of water, Ace of air. This is the back of the card design, which depicts Archangel Michael, who is the divine protector of the archangels and whose sacred day of the week is today, Sunday. And also, and those of you that have read Doreen Virtue's works, she's often talked about her connection to Archangel Michael. Now, speaking of Hay House, the reason I love this tarot deck, Archangel Power Tarot cards, is because of the uniqueness of the suits, and that there are different people that are connected to Hay House that are depicted on the cards. For example, the High Priestess card depicts somebody looking very much like Doreen Virtue when she had blonde hair. Personally, I love her better as a brunette. I think that dark-haired people look a lot sexier than blondes. No offense to the blondes out there. The Moon, again, that looks very much like Doreen Virtue. Now, here's what's interesting about this deck. The different suits correspond to the different archangels. For example, Ace of Gabriel. Now, this would be wands based on the channeled message. Now, let's see. 9 of Ariel. This would be the Pentacles. And Ariel is an archangel of divine prosperity. Let's see. Hold on. King of Michael. Definitely the Swords cards. And this is Queen of Michael, which depicts Louise L. Hay. And it was actually one of her emails where she mentioned that somebody told her she's on the Queen of Michael card. And she looks gorgeous in this gown. And of course, Queen of Raphael, which corresponds to the cups. I love the uniqueness of the deck. I also love the back of the card design. Let me show it to you a little bit differently. Notice you have the 4 angelic flags that correspond to the different primary archangels: Ariel, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel. I love the whole thing. I really love this deck even more than her Angel Tarot cards. I don't use these cards that often. I only use them when I'm divinely guided. Now, for those of us of the witchy and Wiccan and pagan persuasion, we have the Witch's Tarot, which was created by Ellen Dugan. This is the back of the card design. And it was illustrated by Mark Evans, who lives in Queens, New York. High Priestess, 3 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, The shadow side. This is more commonly known as the devil. Two of Wands. La diosa de justicia, also known as Lady Justice. Five of Swords. Yes, there's a butterfly. Actually, hold on. Is that a butterfly or a moth? You know, it is a butterfly, and there are also some fairies in the card, or as I call them, the sacred fae. The Queen of Wands looks very much the lioness in this tarot deck. And the Eight of Cups. This is another tarot deck that I don't use that often. It's only when I'm divinely guided. But it is one of my personal favorite tarot decks. And look, it actually has a bag not from Etsy. I actually do not know where Phyllis had purchased this tarot bag. It came with a matching cloth, but that went to a very good friend of mine who is also a long-time client. Okay, now we're coming towards the end, so I'm going to apologize to y'all in advance. If you have any questions, I'm going to take a look in the chat and see what questions have been posed, and then I'll get to them. So this is the Ancestral Path Tarot, created by Julie Cuccia Watts. And I love this deck. I especially love the fact that I can see if it's right side up or upside down before I turn it over. Those of you that have had readings with me, you know that I very rarely, if ever, use reversed cards, which is the traditional name for upside down cards. Now, here's what I love about this deck. The different suits depict different cultures and depict different deities from those respective cultures. So the suit of staves, again, more commonly known as wands, depict scenes from the life and times of Ramesses II. So, of course, since Ramesses II was an ancient Egyptian, the court cards in this deck depict ancient Egyptian deities. For example, the Queen of Staves depicts my celestial mother Osset, who's more commonly known as Isis. Isis is the name the ancient Greeks and ancient Romans gave this goddess, but one of her ancient names is Osset, one of her other ancient names is Ast. I love this radiant and rich cabochon of carnelian, which to the ancients was called the blood of Isis. This is the gemstone that I have on my pendant. Let me see if I can lower this a little bit so I can show you. This is a carnelian cabochon. You'll notice there's a similarity between this shape and that shape. Is that a coincidence? No, because you know I don't believe in coincidences. Five of sacred circles for the Native American culture. Nine of cups, Arthurian legends. Nine of swords, Japan, but I don't remember what time in Japan. And of course, since the cups correspond to the Arthurian legends, this is the Holy Grail. The court cards depict different cultures. Here is the star card, and she could easily be Native American or Polynesian. Let's see. The High Priestess card. And it's interesting because this card, Julie Cuccia Watts placed herself in the High Priestess card, the Empress card, and she also placed herself as the woman in the Lovers card. She placed her divine consort, whose name escapes me at the moment, on the Magician card, the Hierophant card, and the Man in the Lovers card. Lady Justice, blind but seeing, all-seeing. And here we have Osar, more commonly known as Osiris. Judgment. That bespeaks sleepless nights. If I was going to get sucked into the ceiling, I wouldn't sleep at all. Okay. And I'm going to put these to the side, and I mess this up, and all right. Now, one of my personal favorite tarot decks of all time is called the Robin Wood Tarot by Robin Wood. And I love this deck. This is the back of the card design. This is the front of the card design. I love this deck. I've loved this deck for years. This is either my second copy or my third copy. Ten of Pentacles. Ace of Wands, and if you look closer, you'll see the double strand of the double helix of DNA. Then we have the Chariot, and yes, those are unicorns. Yes, I love that. Four of Cups, Three of Pentacles, flipped over, Eight of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. I love Four of Wands. And I use the blank card or the unknowable card, the Emperor, and Lady Justice once again. I have a feeling the moon is in Libra. I'm going to need to look that up because I keep seeing all of these cards that correspond to Libra energy. The Hierophant. This is what's called, one of the very first things that I learned about this deck is that it is a decidedly pagan tarot deck. However, the imagery is so powerful and so clear that it really is a great deck for anybody who is a novice level tarot reader or somebody who's at a beginner's level, but even somebody at an advanced level of interpreting or reading tarot cards or a mastery level will also benefit from this deck. And I love this deck. Like I said, I think this is my second or third copy. I'm going to say third because my second copy I had when I used to give readings in a New Age club in Manhattan that was called Spirit New York. And what happened was all of the practitioners would have their own rooms in the Spirit area. And then one time I remember I went to go to the bathroom. I came back. And I decided to do a quick check-in, and I used the cards. And then I was looking through the cards to put them back, to put them in order, and set them aside for a paying client. And there were cards missing, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So I think that was the last time that I had to replace this deck. So this is probably my third copy of this particular tarot deck. Yeah, it's one of my personal favorite tarot decks. I've had great conversations with some of my favorite people on the planet about this tarot deck. Also, one of my really favorite people, Ona, who is the living goddess of Wild Child Creations, where I purchase most of my tarot bags, including this one. Look at this, isn't it gorgeous? Oh, I actually want to show you this tarot deck, and I'll tell you why in a moment. So, those of you watching this video, if you happen to know which tarot deck this is, I would greatly appreciate you letting me know. I no longer have the box because the box got destroyed. And if any of this imagery looks familiar to you, please let me know. And it's interesting because I'm remembering a time when I had shared some art or an image that I found through Google Images on This Is Who I Am, which is my professional metaphysically oriented WordPress blog. And more than a year later, somebody had submitted a comment and he wrote, "I believe the name of this artist is this." And then I did a Google search, looked up the artist's name, found, sure enough, that image was on that artist's website. So I was able to update my blog post, and I was able to officially and appropriately credit the artist. Um, so I'm standing for the miracle that somebody watching this video, God is willing, in 2017, as I would say, ojalá, as opposed to ojalá, will see this video and see me showcasing this tarot deck and say, oh, that's this tarot deck. That's the back of the card design. And what I will also tell you about this deck is that it has names for all the cards. For example, this is the Six of Coins, and it is also called Generosity. And it also has the name of the word generosity in a different language, specifically German. Großzügig. I can't pronounce this word. So let me try another one that I can pronounce. Knight of Discs. Ritter der Scheiben. Okay, that one I can pronounce. And this one is Queen of Wands, another lioness with a pantheress. Königin der Stab. Gewinn, gain, 9 of coins, 9 of pentacles. So if anybody watching this video knows what tarot deck this is, please let me know. Please, please, please let me know. So yes, so this is another one of my personal favorite tarot decks. And it's interesting because, again, you know, this was another one of Wild Child Creations tarot bags that I purchased. And this deck just slipped right in. I mean, it is made for this deck. Okay, now I'm going to take a look and see if there are any questions. Let's see, I don't see any questions here. Let me check the YouTube thing and see if there are any questions. And I see no questions. And la la la. And okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. So that's okay. And it could be because I'm using something in addition to this. But according to this, let me see. Okay, la la la, la la la. Okay, I'm not seeing any chats. So when this is uploaded, if any of you have any questions, you can submit that. I'm a little bit over time, but I want to thank you so much for those of you that tuned in. Thank you so much for your patience with me, with my amazing an awesome computer tech person who's also my amazing audiovisual person. I look forward to a significant improvement in the lighting and the video quality of future live streaming videos. But I will tell you now that I am going to continue doing regular videos. And one of the promises that I made to myself and all of you, especially those of you who are part of my ever-increasing number of YouTube channel subscribers, is that I am definitely going to catch up on deck review videos. And I thank you so much. I wish all of you many, 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 many blessings. I want to thank those of you who, prior to this video's live streaming broadcast, wished me a happy birthday, whether it was by calling me, sending me a text message, emailing me, etc., etc., etc. And I am very excited about today. I know that my divine consort is bringing me cupcakes, and I know that he has some lovely surprises for me that my primary psychic guides, David and Anthony, are not telling me about, of which they should not. So thank you, thank you, and thank you. I wish all of you many blessings, many beautiful blessings, many goddess-graced gifts, and many marvelous miracles. Until next time.